Florencia stood on the dusty platform of the countryside train station, her short white hair ruffled by the gentle breeze. A small suitcase clutched in her hand contained all the dreams she had nurtured in the rolling hills and open fields that had been her playground since childhood. The ticket in her pocket represented more than just a journey. It was the key to a world beyond the familiar landscapes she knew so well. Her eyes, a striking shade of blue that mirrored the cloudless sky, reflected a mix of excitement and apprehension as the train pulled in with a rhythmic clatter. This was the day she had been both eagerly anticipating and nervously dreading. The first day at the prestigious city school that had awarded her a scholarship. As the train sped towards the towering buildings and bustling streets of the city, Florencia couldn't help but feel a knot of uncertainty tightening in her stomach. The landscape outside transformed from endless fields to a blur of urban scenery. The city awaited her, and with it, a new chapter of her life. Stepping into the grand door of the school, Florencia felt a mix of awe and intimidation. The polished floors echoed her hesitant footsteps as she navigated the unfamiliar hallways. She couldn't shake the feeling that every eye was scrutinizing her, sizing her up against the backdrop of elegance and privilege that seemed to permeate the air. Finally, she reached her assigned classroom, taking a deep breath before pushing the door open. The chatter ceased as all eyes turned towards her. A hush fell over the room as Florencia, with her short white hair and determined gaze, scanned the unfamiliar faces. In her haste to find a familiar anchor in this sea of strangers, Florencia's eyes widened in surprise. There, sitting at the desk towards the back, was Rosaline, her childhood best friend. Rosaline's long black hair cascaded over her shoulders, her red eyes peering through glasses that framed her face with an air of sophistication. A spark of joy ignited in Florencia's eyes as she rushed forward, eager to reunite with the one person who held a piece of her past in this unfamiliar present. However, the warmth of expectation soon turned to a cold shock. Florencia was it. Rosaline's voice, once a melody of shared laughter, now held a detachment that cut through the air. She looked up with an indifferent expression, as though Florencia was just another face in the crowd. Florencia momentarily stunned, managed to stammer out an introduction to her new classmates, her eyes lingering on Rosaline, hoping for a glimmer of recognition. Yet, as she approached her once dearest friend after the awkward introduction, Rosaline's cold dismissal struck like an unexpected storm. Confused and hurt, Florencia attempted to reconnect, recounting tales of their childhood escapades and the bond they had shared by lakes and in the field of flowers. But Rosaline's response was a wall of resistance, an angry scream of warning Florencia to stay away, to forget the shared memories that seemed to crumble like fragile illusion. As the rest of the class turned a blind eye, Florencia left the room, her heart shattered, her dreams of a warm reunion now replaced by the cold reality of isolation. The countryside girl in the city felt more alone than ever, and the journey that had begun with hope now seemed like a daunting trail. The next morning, Florencia woke up with puffy eyes and a heavy heart. Despite the pain of the previous day, she gathered her remaining strength to face another day at the new school. As she walked through the bustling corridors, she couldn't shake off the hurtful encounter with Rosaline. In the classroom, she hesitated before entering, unsure what the day held for her. To her surprise, Rosaline was sitting alone at a desk, her eyes focused on a book. Florencia hesitated, but then took a deep breath and approached her friend. "Rosaline, can we talk?" Rosaline looked up, her red eyes meeting Florencia's blue gaze. For a moment, there was a flicker of recognition, but then Rosaline quickly averted her eyes. "I do not know you," she said coldly. Florencia's confusion deepened. "Rosaline, it's me, Florencia. We used to play together by the lakes, remember? Don't you remember our adventures in the fields of flowers?" Rosaline's expression remained stern. "I do not know you. I do not know what you're talking about. Please leave me alone." Heartbroken, Florencia returned to her seat, feeling the weight of isolation settle upon her. Throughout the day, her attempts to make new friends were met with indifference or outright rejection. The whispers and glances of her classmates made it clear that she was an outsider. Back home, Florencia locked herself in her room once again. Her mother, worried and compassionate, knocked the door. "Florencia, sweetheart, please come out. I made your favorite snack." But Florencia, consumed by the pain of rejection, couldn't find the strength to face her mother. She whispered through the door, "I just want to be alone, Mom." Days passed, and Florencia continued to endure the loneliness of her new reality. Little did she know, Rosaline was also struggling with her decision. The more she observed Florencia from a distance, the more she regretted her harsh actions. Deep down, she knew that abandoning a true friend was a mistake. Weeks were passing faster than a glimpse, and the tension between Florencia and Rosaline lingered like an unspoken storm. The once inseparable pair now navigated the corridors like distant strangers, their gazes avoiding each other. However, fate seemed to have different plans. One crisp afternoon, as Florencia sat alone in the courtyard, Rosaline approached with an air of hesitancy. The weight of guilt hung heavily on Rosaline's shoulders, and she knew she needed to set things right. Taking a deep breath, she sat down beside her estranged friend. "Florencia," Rosaline began, her voice carrying the weight of regret. I need you to know why I did what I did. It wasn't because I forgot you or wanted to hurt you." She hesitated, her eyes dropping to the ground as if the painful memories were etched into the pavement beneath them. Florencia listened, her wounded heart yearning for an explanation. When I moved here from the countryside, it was brutal, Florencia. Rosaline confessed, her voice's whisper of weakness. They found out. They found out where I came from, and they made my life a living nightmare. The jokes, the isolation, the cruel words, it was unbearable. Rosaline's gaze met Florencia's, and in those red eyes, Florencia saw the scars of a past that had never been fully healed. I thought by pretending to be someone else, by fitting into their world, I would escape the pain of being an outsider. She carried on, her words laced with remorse. When I saw you, I panicked. I wouldn't bear the thoughts of going through that torment again. Yes, I pushed you away. I didn't want them to find out about my past, about where I came from. I didn't want to lose the few friends I had managed to make. Florencia, although hurt, felt a surge of empathy for her friend. The realization of the torments Rosaline had endured painted a vivid picture of the internal struggle she faced. The weight of societal expectations, the fear of judgment, it was a burden Florencia had not fully comprehended until now. But then, Rosaline continued, her voice gaining strength. I overheard them talking about you, planning to bully you, and in that moment, I hated it. I hated what I had become. I realized that being true to myself and having one genuine friend was better than pretending and having dozens of fake ones. Tears welled up in Rosaline's eyes as she looked at Florencia. In that moment, Florencia saw the sincerity in Rosaline's eyes, the genuine regrets marked on her face, the wounds of the past, both shared and hidden, laid bare between them. It was a turning point, a chance for forgiveness, and the rekindling of friendship that had weathered the storm of misunderstanding. Embracing the truth, Florencia and Rosaline forged a new beginning, one that defied the shadows of the past. The whispers and stares of the bullies intensified, fueled by their resentment towards the newfound resilience of the two friends. The threat of impending bullying loomed, but Florencia and Rosaline stood side by side, a united front against the storm. One sunny afternoon, as the school bell echoed through the hallways, they decided to confront the adversity waiting them. With an unspoken pact, they walked through the courtyard hand in hand, their gazes fixed forward, determined to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The bullies, expecting fear and submission, were met with the unexpected strength. In the face of threats and intimidation, Florencia and Rosaline found an unyielding resolve. They chose not to succumb to the pressures of conformity, and instead embraced their true selves. They finally began spending more time together, reclaiming the lost moments of their friendship. They revisited the lakeside, where laughter had once echoed freely, and under the shade of familiar trees, they shared stories of their journeys since the day they first parted ways. As the days unfolded, they found joy in simple pleasures, reading books, doing homework, and cherishing the shared silence that spoke volumes of their rebuilt bond. The lake, once a witness to their childhood adventures, now reflected the growth of two souls unburdened by the weight of pretense. Their newfound authenticity attracted like-minded individuals, and soon a circle of genuine friends surrounded them. In the glow of genuine camaraderie, they embraced a happily ever after, one that is built on the foundation of shared laughter, mutual understanding, and the unwavering support that true friendship provides.